Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be focused on getting over a reading slump. I recently just got into one, and usually whenever I get into a reading slump it's not that bad. However, this time I'm really struggling to pick up a book, and I don't know if it's because I'm on holidays and I don't know, I want to do other stuff, or if I just lack motivation to read. But every single time it's like I'm still currently reading a book and I would read maybe a couple chapters and then I would put it back down, and I don't really have the incentive to pick it back up. But when I do really focus on it and sit down, I tend to just read the whole thing. This kind of started in my video where I read my 2024 anticipated releases, which I enjoyed all the books that I read in that video. However, it did take me quite some time to get through them all, and I feel like the same thing is going to happen with the books in these videos, where I will enjoy reading them but probably will have difficulties in picking it up. So basically my goal in this video is to try and get that feeling of, I guess, being obsessed with reading again. I'm currently reading A Trial of Sorcerers, and this is a spin-off of the 𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐻 series. The thing that drew me into reading the 𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐻 series is the cover. The covers are absolutely beautiful. I think I just have a weakness for covers where the people are drawn. The cover of A Trial of Sorcerers as well is so pretty. Covers like this I absolutely love, and it just makes me even more excited to read the book. I haven't really read that much, and I feel like it's gonna get a lot more exciting. I swear everyone besides her best friend and her aunt annoys me because they treat her so badly, and it's so frustrating to read. She's a sorcerer, and she basically lives in a town full of other sorcerers who are obviously learning about magic and just basic school stuff. And she's a water runner, meaning that she can control water. And an accident happened when she was younger because she lost control of her powers, which resulted in one student being killed and the other sustaining injuries. But because of that, everyone treats her not like she's fragile, but they expect her to make the same mistake, or they have the fear that it's going to happen again. And because of that, they kind of in a way coerce her to avoid using her magic. And I just don't understand why you don't just teach her how to completely control her power instead of trying to make her avoid using her magic. Because even now, when she gets highly emotional, sometimes her magic does get out of control a little bit. But the reason why she's highly emotional is because of her family, which to me is totally understandable, because the way that her family acts is so frustrating. If this doesn't build resentment, I don't know what will, because I'm angry for our main girl. But as of right now, we are basically going through a bunch of trials because there's this opportunity to go to this place called Meru, which I think is like an elven place, but only the strongest sorcerers are able to go, which is why they have to pass certain trials to kind of weed out the weaker ones, I guess. We basically have one of those kiss me so we don't get caught scene, which, not gonna lie, I love those scenes every single time, especially because you can see the chemistry between them blossom. And this scene, it's so interesting because when I first saw this guy, I knew instantly, enemies to lovers. Can't wait to see how the relationship develops. And I feel like it's gonna be one where basically the main character is only gonna be the one who knows his true character. I did think that the love interest could possibly be someone else, but then we actually got to talk to him, and I was like, he's giving me bad vibes. He's somewhat a little bit fishy, and I don't trust him. So I'm rooting for this guy. It's been a while since I've updated because, yeah, I have not been reading. I am near the halfway point of A Trial of Sorcerers, and I've decided to take a little break from this book. I'm probably going to read it later, but as of right now, I'm not really in the mood to read it. So I obviously don't want to force myself, but I am enjoying it. So once I'm in the fantasy mood and once I get back into reading, I'm really excited to read this book and to go on with the series. I have a sense that the romance in this book particularly is going to be good, but I've heard that later on there's going to be a love triangle, which I'm not really excited about because I hate love triangles. Why do you need them? So I started reading another book, which is I Hope This Doesn't Find You. I wanted something, I guess, very fast and light to read, which is why I think that a romance book is perfect. And I had this book in my TBR list for a while, so I was like, why don't I just read it? I already know how this book is gonna play out because I feel like Anne Leanne always has the same formula where it's this girl who is extremely studious but she's under pressure. She makes a mistake that leads to the whole school hating her. She also really hates the male lead and she's forced to get closer to him because of the issue that she created, and then their feelings for each other develop, and then they have a third act to break up, and then they officially get together, and once they do, the story just cuts. It ends, and that always annoys me so much because I want to see more of the relationship after they actually get together. I definitely do think that I am more into reading this than A Sorcerer of Trials because I just picked this up today and I'm already kind of getting through it. I'm going out after this, so I'm hoping that I will be able to read a lot of this on the train. I feel like I'm back in the game because I finished I Hope This Doesn't Find You, which I absolutely love this book. It did take me a while to pick it up, but once I did, I was like, because it's such an easy light romance book to read, I wanted to finish it so badly, especially because of the chemistry between the two characters, because the chemistry, just the butterflies it gave me. Also, I really love how Anne Leanne writes her male lead because all the subtle hints that they're like the main character and just the different expressions in their face where you as the audience know that he likes her but she doesn't because, you know, she has a lot of other things to think about in her life. But the way that he's described when his pupils dilate, how he's described as like cold but charming, and just the way where he acts around her compared to other people. But also I love the thing where they mention, oh, he talks about you so much, and then the guy's trying to prevent them to say anything because, you know, he doesn't want you to know that he likes you. I feel like the reason I wasn't exactly sure if I was gonna like this book was because when I read This Time It's Real, I did enjoy it, but I felt like I didn't really like the female lead because she kind of annoyed me and I didn't really like the setup of the overall story. However, with this one, the whole rivals to lovers kind of idea, and honestly, just the characters, the chemistry between the two characters. I always don't like how the book always ends when they officially get into a relationship though, but this book, I love the way that it was set up. I'm gonna try and read A Trials of Sorcerers, but I'm not gonna force myself to finish it if I don't want to. But I kind of thought, oh, why don't I read a little mystery book or like a thriller, because I felt like if there's suspense, it would actually make me want to read the book. So I ended up choosing the reappearance of Rachel Price, which I don't really know what this book is about, but it's written by Holly Jackson, who wrote the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, which I really enjoyed because it was one of those books that you want to consume quickly. I truly do not know if I want to DNF this book or not because I am enjoying the whole premise of it, and I really want to see how the romance plays out, especially because I really like the male lead and I really like romances that are written in this certain way. However, I'm still so infuriated with her family. Every single time I think that maybe they will improve on their relationship with her, they're literally so selfish with the way that they treat her and act around her. And it's crazy because they're like, oh, we care for you, we love for you, of course. But then the things that they do and the things that they say to her, it makes me so angry, and I feel like that's half of the reason why I don't want to read this book. Another reason is because I feel like I know how this is gonna end. We have the fishy bad guy character. I just know what's gonna happen, and it's really painful to see how she is getting manipulated. And I'm thinking, do I at this point really want to read the rest of the series? I'm not sure. You know what? I'll think about it a little bit more and then I will probably DNF it. I finished reading The Reappearance of Rachel Price, which I found this book really interesting, and I feel like it did get me out of my reading slump because reading it actually did make me want to pick up the book, and I read it quite quickly because I wanted to know what happens. It's set up as a documentary where the main character's mom disappeared and then reappeared, and we kind of solved the mystery of what happened, why she disappeared, and how she reappeared. I did really enjoy it, but there were some things that kind of annoyed me. I just didn't like the main character. She kind of pissed me off, especially the way that she treated her mom. And I just felt like she was so mean, which is totally understandable because of the things that she went through, but she just wasn't a likable character, which made it difficult for me to connect with her. I felt like the whole antagonist, or I guess suspect, was very, very obvious. Even from the beginning, I was like, oh, this person is super sus. But the ending did take me back because I was not expecting all the other stuff to go on. And while I would say second half of the book, while we were reaching the end, was really interesting, the first half was a little bit boring in my opinion. I felt like it was kind of slow until the halfway point where it finally picked up. I also don't know how to feel about the ending. I felt like it was a bit too, not easy, but I guess just like unrealistic, which is totally fine because it's a fictional book, but it just wasn't satisfying to read. I guess I wanted a little bit more out of it. I don't read a lot of thrillers, so I'm not exactly sure, but I just don't like endings like this because I feel like justice in a way is not served. I did really enjoy it though, and I definitely think I'm out of my reading slump because after I finished that, I started another book which is called Blood Mercy, and this book is around like 700 pages. It's really surprising that I picked up this book because it was on my TBR list, and I just felt like I wanted to read a romantasy, so I was like, okay, this book looks good, I'm gonna pick it up. And then I picked it up and I was like, oh, this book is like 700 pages. I don't know why it needs to be 700 pages, so I'm interested to see why it's that long. So far, I have read a little bit of it, not that much, but because I'm out of my reading slump officially, this is basically the end of the video. It took me quite a while to get through the books that I read in this video, and it was not about actually reading them, it was more just having the motivation, I guess, to pick it up. I'm not saying that forcing yourself to read is a good way to get out of a reading slump, but I definitely think just picking up books that I either knew I was going to enjoy or picking up books that I knew were easy to read did help me get out of my reading slump. So I'm happy. I'm out of it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you guys in another one.